real stories, real people, real business. This is Squad 915 Spotlights with Tony P.
It is time now for another Squad 915 Spotlight. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you very much for pressing play. Be sure to check our socials. Link is in the description. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and the list just keeps growing. So highly encourage you to click on the description, like, subscribe, follow, do anything and everything you can to help the Squad 915 name, the brand, get it out there, because that just basically tells the algorithm that you like what we're doing, and to keep letting other people know to check us out, listen to us, follow us, and just be a part of the Squad 915 experience. And so, once again, thank you so much for listening. And today's Spotlight, we're talking once again with Ivey, Prettie Poison, and we're going to talk about the 2025 Borderland Roller Derby League season. How's it going there, Miss Prettie Poison?
It's going.
I really got to get used to saying your name completely like that, so you got to bear with me on that.
I usually get Pretty. I get Prettie Poison, Miss Prettie Poison, or if people just know me outside of Derby, it's Ivey. But
yeah,
I'm good with Pretty.
All right, that actually sounds pretty good, Miss Pretty. But I really like to call you Miss Prettie Poison. That sounds really cool to me. So I'm gonna work on that one for sure. But once again, thank you very much for being on this spotlight. And today we're actually going to talk about the Borderland Roller Derby 2025 season, starting with the season opener, which happens to be a mashup bout. Now, we're going to get into the details of that, but before we do, we were just talking in our pre-show, for those who have never been to a roller derby league game or bout in their life, like myself, we're going to walk you through what to expect as far as parking, getting there, walking in, tickets, and then once you take your seat, what you can expect moving forward. So let's talk about getting to the venue. Miss Prettie Poison, tell us about that.
All right, so our game is this Sunday, March 16th. Once you arrive, you're going to hit the Paso County Coliseum, 4100 East Paisano. Usually people get confused. They're kind of like, okay, so it's at the main Coliseum building, but no, it's not. It's actually a little building behind the Coliseum. We call it the Judging Arena. So once you go through the right entrance, you're going to take a right again, and it's literally a small white building. That's usually where we hold our practices and we hold our games. Once you drive in, you'll probably have to pay for parking. Usually parking is no more than $3 to $4. They'll take your cash only. You guys will park in we call it the desert area, but it's pretty much just the dirt area. I always tell people to get there on time or get there a little bit earlier because it does fill up. You have to keep in mind that we do have members that are parking, so fans that are parking, staff that are parking. So I would just suggest to get there early or carpool. Once you park, you're going to walk into the front entrance of the judging arena. Like I said, try to get there on time because sometimes we do have lines. If you don't want to wait in line, if you want to just try to hurry it and get in to get the best seat in the house, get there at 5 because that's when doors open. So you have about an hour until the game starts. Once you go in, you pay your ticket. If you've already got an advance ticket for $7, they'll just take your ticket and you'll just walk in. If you haven't gotten a ticket, no worry. We do sell tickets at the door. They are $10. So you'll walk in And pretty much you just find a seat where, it's first come, first serve. So wherever there's an available seating, you pick that spot.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, so let me paint a little picture for you. The first time we went there, and if you go to our YouTube channel, you will actually see some video of the newbies doing their training. But when we got there, I was lost. We are like, "Is this the building?" Because there was different buildings there. Now, just to be clear, it's not the main Coliseum building. It's not that one. It is
No.
I call it the Borderland Roller Derby complex. That's what I call it because it sounds cool.
Man, that sounds way better than
Done
the
it,
Judging
right?
Arena.
And so, but it is a white building. Most noticeably, it does have like a brown rustish kind of roof. So that is a very prominent indicator that you were in the right place. Now, when we got there was no cars. So I was like, are we sure in the right place? I actually had to call you, and then you just showed up luckily, and then everybody kind of showed up after you. So that was great to see. But it's going to be a little bit different because there's going to be some vendors there, and so it'll probably be a little more noticeable. But let me also let you know that Sunday is also the Kaleidoscope Sunday Market, so there's going to be a lot of traffic in and out of the Coliseum, so just be aware of that, and that's why it's important with Miss Prettie Poison just said is to show up early so this way you can find the parking. Now, the parking is, like you said, in kind of the dirt parking area, kind of on the west side of the building and kind of on the southwest side of the building, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so that's kind of probably the best place. Now, be vigilant of the desert, the dirt, because when we went to practice, we actually ended up getting something in our tire and it causing a flat. And so,
oh no,
yeah, I don't know if you know that we actually had to go down the street to a gas station and actually spare tire and put it on and everything. So just be vigilant of where you're parking. So just be careful with that. But other than that, it should be pretty easy to find, especially with the fact that there's going to be vendors there, there's going to be cars there. It's going to be great. Now, we got the parking covered. People are going to walk up. They're going to pay for the tickets there. Now, the tickets at the door are $10, but if you want to save $3, you can actually purchase your tickets for $7 from any BRD player and or Hope and Anchor, correct?
that is correct. No, yeah, we do have skaters that are selling their tickets. So if you know a Derby girl, if you've seen a Derby girl, or you just happen to walk by one, they'll have tickets in hand. They'll be selling them for $7. Or hey, like you don't know anyone, and I mean, there's an establishment on Mesa, which is Hope and Anchor. You can go there, grab a drink, and you can get a ticket for $7 in advance there as well.
Perfect. Yeah. You know what? Saving, $3, $6, $9, $12 is very important for people that are coming as a family. Any little help.
Yes.
But again, if you just want to show up and pay $10, is it just $10 straight, or are you charging tax too?
No, it's $10 straight. It's cash only. So
Okay.
it's $7 in advance, like I said, from a skater, from Hope and Anchor. Let's say you don't purchase your advance ticket. I mean, you can purchase it at the door for $10. Military, it's $7. It's $7 with military, and for kids, 10 and under, it's $1.
Oh, that is really good. Good to know for that for sure. Because if you show your military ID, you're going to get it for $7. Kids 10 and
Exactly.
under, $1. Now, you said it's cash only, so I'm assuming you're going to be some of the BRD staff to be able to take the cash and then issue out the tickets, and then that's kind of how it works, right?
Correct. So at the door, it'll be cash only just to pay for your ticket. But once you walk in, we do have, we have vendors. The vendors have their own like devices to take like Cash App. They have, to take credit card or debit card. Our merchandise booth also takes debit card, Cash App. So, I mean, not everything is cash only. It's just only the tickets that will be cash only.
Okay, awesome. Now, we got that part covered. Now, let's talk about vendors. You do have a couple of vendors that are already committed, with also a few other ones that you're just kind of waiting to finalize before you make any announcements. So we're not going to talk about them, but we're going to talk about who are already committed, which is Twin Peaks and El Pato, right?
El Pato. Yeah, so Twin Peaks will be there. Twin Peaks is going to have a booth. They'll be doing pretty much swag, bringing people in, telling them about their business. We also have El Pato, which is a food truck. So we will have food at this game. So if you guys are hungry, you guys can step out of the venue. Don't worry, like coming back and being like, oh, do I have to pay again? No. Once you walk in, you do get a bracelet. So that allows you to walk in and out of the venue. So that if you're wanting to go outside to look at the vendors, you can with that bracelet on. So you can grab your food, you can look at the vendors, the booths, and then you can walk right back in and watch the game.
Okay, are you allowed to take the food into the arena?
Yes, you can take the food in. So you can order outside, wait for your food, and then you can bring the food inside.
Okay, and no outside food or drinks allowed, right? People can't bring in an entire ice chest of stuff for themselves or anything, right?
No ice chests, but I mean, no one's gonna stop you if you bring, and it has to be a sealed container, so it cannot be opened already. So if you're bringing in a water, make sure that that water's already sealed. If you're bringing in sodas, make sure they're sealed. Anything that's already opened, they might not let you in.
Understood. Gotcha. And let's also point this out too. No alcohol, no beer, no wine, no mixed drinks. This is a family event and is on the County Coliseum Fairgrounds, so no alcoholic beverages of any kind allowed, correct?
Exactly. There's no alcohol allowed inside the venue, but hey, I mean, not to fear. After the game is done, you're welcome to join us at our after party at Hope and Anchor. They'll have all the drinks you could crave. So, I mean, you can still drink after, and you can drink with a Derby girl. So, I mean, why not just do that?
That sounds even fun too. You know, you guys can interact and just talk about the game and all that fun stuff. So that's really cool to look forward to as far as an after party. Now, people are in their seats, they're ready to go. Talk about kind of the lineup, what's to come when they're sitting in their seats and when at 6 p.m. once everything starts.
So once you're seated, you will see skaters kind of just skating around. They're kind of warming up. The ones that are playing, they're warming up for the game. Some of the teams will get like a kind of like a time slot to kind of practice a bit. So you'll see a bunch of girls just kind of practicing their endurance, maybe practicing a few blocking drills, just getting prepared to play. Once 6 o'clock hits, we do like a demonstration. So what it is that for those who don't know the game, for those who are like, okay, well, what's going on? We do a demo where we show you pretty much the general aspect of how the game is played. So our announcer will be like, okay, girls on the track. So they'll do like a visual step by step how everything works so that when you're watching the game, you kind of understand. And don't worry, like once the game goes on, you kind of pick up cues as like, oh, okay, that's why this is happening. But if you kind of miss the demonstration at the beginning, let's say you got there late, no fear. We do provide pamphlets when you walk into the venue. So in those pamphlets, you will have a breakdown of the game rules as well. Once we do the demonstration, we're getting ready to prepare to start the game. So we do introduce you to the teams that are playing. So each team is brought to the track and you're introduced to each skater. You're introduced to who are the captains. You're introduced to the coaches. Once both teams are introduced, you're also introduced to the officials. So you know who the officials are, where they're standing, where they're at. And afterwards, we do our national anthem. And from our national anthem, we do a moment of silence. Once all that is prepared, that's when you hear the whistle and that's when game starts.
And just to give people an analogy, so when you're going to a football game, whether high school or UTEP or any type of professional game, the warm up consists, just like the players on the field, they're practicing their strategies, they're practicing their plays, they're warming up, they're throwing footballs around just to get themselves warmed up, and that's what the derby players are doing is they're basically skating around to get themselves warmed up. So when you walk in and sit down, you're going to be able to see all that kind of pre-bout action going on, right?
Exactly. I mean, you're going to get to see girls that are like, they're going to test, the track. They're going to make sure the track is smooth, it's not slick. They want to make sure that they have the right equipment. So they're going to test out their skates. They're going to test out their gear, make sure that they also have safety precautions before they play. And then, yeah, just make sure that their bodies are warmed up so that once they start playing, they're not too jittery. Because we do get jittery. We do get, I'm not going to lie, some of us, like myself, we still get shy. We still get kind of, a little fear going on before the game starts. But once that game plays, all that fear goes out the door. And that's when we become very competitive.
Yeah, completely understandable. It's the big show. It's the time. You guys have been working up preseason, off-season to work yourselves up to this moment. So, of course, you're going to be jittery, but also, too, from a safety standpoint as well. You don't want to. You want to make sure you're not going to be cramping up out there. So you want to get the blood flowing. You want to get the heart going. You want to get yourself, literally warmed up. So this way, when you're out there, you're not getting any injuries from skating too much. You just kind of want to get your body and your motor going, correct?
Exactly. And I mean, you have to keep in mind when it comes down to a mashup game. So a mashup game being that, you're playing with skaters that you normally don't play with in a season. So for instance, my team is the Executioners. In this game that I'm playing this weekend, I'm going to be playing with skaters not only from the Executioners, but I'm going to be playing with skaters from the Diablas and from the Viudas. So I mean, you're going to have to learn how to skate with them in a short amount of time. So you have that moment before game starts to kind of learn how to play with them. Yeah, you play with them during practices, but it's a very different ball game when it comes down to the actual game. So you have that little window of opportunity to kind of, all right, this is how you skate, this is I skate, we skate perfectly together. All right, cool. We're going to be skating a lot together in this game. So I mean, that's their time to kind of learn each other. And I mean, you learn each other as you go during the game, but just to kind of prepare your mind for it.
We'll talk about the mashup just a second here. We're going to talk real quick about the demo, which is basically skating around, kind of showing people what to expect, how to follow the game. After that, then we're going to have the opening ceremony, which is the national anthem. And then to start the mashup, tell us about how the selection actually happens.
For the mashup, what we do is each skater is told per month they have to accumulate a certain amount of points during practices. So attending a practice, you get 1 point. In a month, you have to do 4 points in order to be eligible to play a game within a given month. So the ladies who will be playing on Sunday, they were eligible to play, meaning that they've met the requirements to participate in this game. So once they're eligible, what happens? It's pretty much a draw of a hat. So all the eligible skaters are put into pretty much a pot, and one skater by one is drawn to each team, and that's how we select both our teams for the game.
How many players in total does each team have for the mashup?
So for this game, we'll have a 7-and-7 game. So there's 7 players on each team. Each team is provided one coach. So the teams get to choose their coaches. Normally, they pick a coach that's already an established coach within another team. So it'll be your 7 players, your coach, and that's pretty much it. And then you have your officials, and then you have your announcer in the middle. But pretty much, it's gonna be a 7-and-7 battle out.
Okay, and how many players are going to be active on the track at one time?
So actively, there would only be 5 players per team. So there'll be your 4 blockers and your jammer for each team.
Okay, and again, the blockers are your offensive defensive line. Your jammers are your scorers, like your running backs and your wide receivers and your quarterbacks, and those are the ones that have the star on their helmets, the ones that score the points. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. And so that's kind of how it is. So the bouts start, and you're going to have how many officials can the crowd expect to see during the bout or in games in general?
In games in general, we have typically between 10 to 13 officials. This game will probably have 9 to 10 officials, and you'll have officials that are on skates. You'll have officials that are off skates. You'll have officials that are cornered on the outside of the track. So you'll have one official that's keeping an eye on one straight. You'll have another official that's focused on one turn. You do have also jammer officials. So those those officials are the ones that follow the jammers. So they're the ones that are collecting the points, seeing who has the lead jammer status. You also have officials that are outside the track doing the scoring. So you have someone that's tallying, communicating with the officials in the middle. They're counting the points, and then they're letting the person that's running the scoreboard know, like, okay, this jammer collected this many points. Go ahead and put it and add it to the points.
Good to know. All right. So as we're talking right here and we're talking about the mashup game itself, I want to associate it more of like an all-star game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but an all-star game is basically some of the players that, like you said, that are eligible to play on Sunday's game that are going to be selected on the two teams. And so you've got the veterans that are going to be playing this mashup game, not the newbies, just the veterans. So you're going to have experienced players out there that are eligible to play and that are going to be selected on two teams. By the way, is there the team names or is it just general two teams?
No, so actually this game on Sunday, it does have a theme. It's called Rodeo Showdown. So it's themed on rodeo. So it will be the rodeo clowns versus rodeo cowgirls. So you'll have your clowns and you'll have your cowgirls. These two teams already have kind of an idea as to, how they're going to dress up, which I'm very interested to see on Sunday. So you'll see a lot of costumes. You'll see a lot of makeup ideas and techniques that they've come up with just to fit the theme of this game. So that's going to be really cool for fans to see. But yeah, it's a little rodeo, and we always encourage our fans too to dress up for the theme. So if any of the fans are interested, come in a cowboy hat, paint your face like a clown. We love to see our fans dressed up on the stands as well.
Oh, that's interesting. I was wondering because I follow you, Squad 915. We all follow each other on Instagram. And then when the actual promotion, the graphics came out, it had that rodeo theme. So, and then, of course, I thought to myself, how does this actually work? So this is actually really good that we're actually talking about this. And so it is actually a rodeo-themed mashup bout on March 16th between the cowgirls, you said, and the clowns?
Yeah, the rodeo clowns versus the rodeo cowgirls.
Wow, that should be very interesting. And so these players are going to be themed up to whatever team. Now, that brings up another interesting question. How will the players know which to dress up for if they're just going to get randomly selected from a pot?
I try to pick teams ahead of schedule so that the girls are prepared to know what team they're on. That way they have time to get their uniforms done. Maybe they want inspiration as to how to do their makeup and their outfits, kind of, dress it up a bit just to fit the theme of games. But we try to do these themes in advance. That way our skaters, and as well as like our staffing, they're all prepared as how to come to this game and kind of give the theme life, if that makes sense.
No, it makes complete sense. And so what you're saying is that they're going to be randomly selected for this all-star mashup rodeo-themed bout, but they're already going to be selected randomly ahead of time, so that way they can theme themselves up appropriate, correct?
Yeah, so they've already been selected. They've already been put into their team. So girls already know where they're going. I'll be actually clowning on Sunday, so I'm going to be a rodeo clown.
Oh, very interesting. That's going to be a sight to see for sure. It kind of makes me wonder if I should theme myself up.
You probably should.
I should go like half and half, right? I should go like split
you should.
half and
I've
half,
done
right?
that before.
Really?
I've done that for teams. Yeah, I try not to be biased. So sometimes when I'm not playing and I have two teams, whether it's a mashup or it's a like home team games playing, I tend to try to fit both teams playing just to be fair.
Fair enough. I'll see what I can do for sure. That's going to be interesting. Okay, so now that we kind of have laid this whole out, the theme, how to get here, all that stuff, the demo, what a mashup is all about, how to score. Also, you're going to have an MC there that's going to be doing the announcements, keeping score. You have a big projector screen that's going to have the points displayed on there. You're going to have music for the different type of teams when they're doing their
Their intros.
their intros, but also when they're doing their jams, right?
Yeah. Music will be playing throughout the game. So you'll hear music playing. I mean, it helps us as skaters, really. For me personally, and I'm sure for the rest of the skaters as well, we like to hear music just so that it kind of pumps us up. It's like going to a gym, you know, you go to a gym, you have your headphones on, you have music playing, something that kind of inspires you to keep pushing yourself. It's the same concept with us as skaters on the track. We want to hear something that kind of pumps us through the game. You'll also hear your MC throughout the entire game. He's going to do play by play. He's going to hype you guys up as a crowd and let you guys know what's going on, who's on the track, maybe give you a little slight second history of that skater. Like, hey, you know, this skater's been skating for this certain amount of years and now they're on the track and they're ready to go as a jammer. But you'll get to hear all this as the game is going.
Let's talk about halftime. You do have a live band playing on the halftime show, correct?
Yeah, so for our halftime for this Sunday, we do have a band. They're called As the City Sleeps. They'll be playing for our halftime entertainment. It's a 20-minute set. They'll be doing their thing. At this moment, you guys can catch the band, watch them play. You can also maybe use the restrooms, maybe take a look at the vendors. Hey, maybe go get food. So this would be the perfect time to do all these things and just catch the band. But I mean, this is a great opportunity for bands in general, you know, to get their music out there and to play for a roller derby event. You know, like that's pretty cool.
No, it
So
very
I mean,
much
if there's
is.
bands out, if they're interested, I mean, we have a full season. I know I have 3 bands already lined up for the season, but I mean, I still have opens for the rest of the year. So if any bands are out there hearing this and they're interested in playing a roller derby event, contact us on Facebook or Instagram and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, when I went to the food truck fiesta, I found a band and I reached out to you immediately and said, "Hey, I have a band here that very interested, and you're going to slot us in at some point in the season," which sounds pretty cool to me, right?
Yes, I will, and I will let you know.
All right, cool, awesome, yeah. So, all right, so we kind of laid everything out. Now let's do the second part of this as to how Squad 915 is going to incorporate. So we're going to be there. We are going to do a pre-bout podcast, which you and I talked about in the pre-show. We're going to talk to some of the players. Hopefully we can get some officials. Just kind of talk to somebody to kind of get you kind of ready for the game, the bouts. So when you arrive with this podcast already in your mind as to how you're going to plan to get to the venue, and then as you're driving into the venue, kind of what you can hear, what's actually happening during the pre-bout. And then once the bouts begin, that's when the MC takes over and they're going to just do as if it's the game. What we're going to be doing is we're going to have our 3D prints there, and you and I have been working for the past few weeks as to giving us the team logos and stuff, and we're actually coming out with some ideas as to theming our 3D prints around the team colors. And so if you want to come and support your team for the 2025 season, we're going to have some really cool 3D prints that are going to be themed up for the team colors and just in general that we're going to offer people for sale that are going to be at our booth. We take cash, we take card, we take Cash App, we take all of those different ways to pay. And then at the same time, we're also going to live stream the game as well. So you and I were talking in the pre-show. I do have some new technologies that I'm going to experiment. Hopefully I can get that online and it looks awesome. But at the very least, we're going to have a big screen, whether it be a projector. We also have a big giant TV just in case the projector doesn't work out, but we have a very big giant flat screen TV that we're going to project the live stream that you can actually see for yourself and follow the game. So if for some reason you're not at the game, which I don't know why you won't be at the game, but just in case you can't make it, you'll be able to see the live stream through our link tree, and the link will be in the description. And I will also put that out in the description in the pre-bout podcast as well. And so that's kind of going to be our contribution. In addition to that, also going to be playing music for the jams. And so looking forward to that. That's just going to be our contribution to this first game. And then, of course, we're also going to be working on making things better and better for each and every game throughout the 2025 season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're excited. We're excited to have this. This is actually the first time we've had a live podcast there at our event. So this is not only be interesting for us, but for our fans to see it as well. So I'm kind of glad that this is all happening.
Yeah, me too, for sure. And us here at Squad 915, we definitely want to make the Borderland Roller Derby out there. We want to expand that reach. We want to help people get educated with podcasts such as this. We want to help as far as if for some reason they can't make it, they can still see and engage in the game through our live streams, through our podcasts. And of course, as the season goes along, having more of individual podcasts to talk about the games themselves, talking with the players, the officials, obviously talking with you, just to talk about what's to come. And that's what you can expect here on Squad 915, just to help you to know more about this league, to know more about the players, the officials, the game itself. And of course, as the new games throughout the season come up, the vendors are going to change, the theme is going to change. There's going to be a lot of different things that you're going to want to listen to these podcasts and, of course, the live streams as they happen, because we're going to make this as interactive and as educational for you as possible. Because, like I told you myself, I've never been to a game. I'm excited. But I also understand from a perspective of somebody who's never been to this game as to how to help them get more educated on the game itself and what's to come.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you can always get us on social media if you're ever like, what is, Borderland Roller Derby doing today? Or what are they doing this month? Check us out on our social media and you can always keep updated with that. We just don't post events. I mean, we post funny videos. We post, inspiration of skaters. Like we showcase our skaters during practices, doing things outside of Derby. You get to know these skaters as well through our social media. So, I mean, there's always some sort of engagement with us. So just keep an eye out on those kind of things. And throughout the time that you follow us, you get to know us, I mean, you get to learn the game too. And you get to know how fun the game it is, how fun it is not only to watch, but to play. So, I mean, we're always looking for new recruitment. So I know one of our class of this season is actually graduating this week. So they'll be moving on to their home teams officially. And once that is already established, we'll be looking for new recruitment. So anyone that's listening that's also interested in joining, look out for the recruitment flyer to see when classes start.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting question. You do have some fresh meat newbies in training, and again, if you want to see what it's all about, you can go to our YouTube, watch that video. It's about 2 minutes long, but it kind of gives paints a picture of what kind of training is going on, what the venue's like, what the track is like, which, by the way, is excellent video footage that you captured on the track itself. So thank you for that.
I did.
It looked really cool, right?
Like the funnest thing I ever did.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool, and it came out phenomenal too, by the way. So if you want to kind of get an idea as to what the training is about, what the track's about, what the venue's about, you can check out our YouTube video. And speaking of which, the newbies, once they're finished with their training, they're going to enter the draft, correct?
Yes. So they'll be doing assessments this week. Once they've already completed their assessments, which I'm very confident. I'm very confident of the new skaters I have right now. They will be drafting. That's how I'm gonna say it. They will be drafting. Next week they'll be, pretty much housed into one of the three teams that we have. So they'll be playing with a home team this season. So you'll see new faces on the track. But pretty much, I mean, what's exciting is that you're not only going to see familiar faces, because we do have fan favorites, right? You have fans of the Skatey Perrys, and you have fans of the Maleficents, and you have fans of the Bella Beasts. But you're also going to start seeing new skaters that you're like, you know what? I really like that player. I think I'm going to start supporting that player. So by all means do. These girls love it. They love to see that they have fans out there. So I know I get stories all the time from girls that tell me they just go grocery shopping and they get recognized at the grocery store like little celebrities. So I'm
Hmm.
just like, that's a cute way of seeing it. It's nice to see that the community sees all the hard work we put into these games and to get recognized for our accomplishments and our talents. So I mean, it's a cool little thing to have, I guess, within ourselves to know that we're being recognized for all our hard work.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's why you get into this game to begin with, is to have fun, to play the game, but mostly to get recognized, get credibility, and just be known as a local celebrity because that's what you want to do. Now, you said that as soon as this class graduates and gets drafted, you're starting another class of newbies, and kind of walk through the process on, for those who are listening to this podcast right now that are interested, that did miss the last training class but want to start a new one. Kind of walk them through the process on that.
Yeah, so I'm looking into starting up a new class, preferably at the end of April, if not in May. We did move it up just because I mean this class that we had currently they're advancing pretty well. So we're looking to start up probably between April and May. People that are interested, I always get the same question like, well, do I have to know how to skate? But my size, I'm too little, I'm too big, I'm too old, I'm too young. I always tell people the same thing. You know your body more than anyone. So if you feel like, you know what, I can do it, then you probably can. So I always tell people just try it. Just come out to a practice and just see what you can do, and don't feel defeated the first day either. Like some of these girls, it took them time to learn to where they're at right now. It will take time. Practice makes perfect, right? So I always tell people come try out, see how you feel. And the thing is it's not even like a tryout. I always tell people it's a learning process. You come in to learn how to play, not to see if you can play. So once you've done your first practice, I mean, we teach you everything you need to know. You don't know how to skate? Hey, we'll teach you how to skate. You don't know how the game is played? Well, we'll teach you how the game is played. We'll teach you to where you're on that track with your future team, and you're not only playing to your the best of your ability, but you're also playing safe. You're playing safe for yourself and for others. So I mean, I always encourage people, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter the size of your body. It's all about technique and your abilities. So I always encourage anyone just to challenge themselves and to see if this is something they would like to do. I do tell people though, roller derby is a very dedicated sport. It takes up some of your time. So, I mean, if you feel that you have the time and the dedication to commit to a sport like this, I say do it. I say go for it.
Yeah, I really like what you said about coming there to learn how to play, not whether or not if you can. Because going back to your story, some 16 years ago, you didn't even know how to skate, much less on a bank
No.
track. So you figured it out, and look at you now. And so if there's anybody who is doubting themselves and thinking, I don't even know if I'm even be able to do this, take it from Ivy, where she never skated a moment of her life some 16 years ago, and she learned not only how to play this game, but also learned how to skate on a banked track, because it is a banked track. And like I said, you can watch the YouTube video and see it for yourself. And so I don't
No.
want you to get intimidated by that. Just know that there's a lot of other girls or players, there's some guys too, that are in the same position, that they don't know what to expect. They don't know what's going on, and they're probably thinking to themselves, can I even do this? And you're saying absolutely can, right?
Anybody can. If you have the drive to want to do it, you can do it. Like I tell people all the time, because they always tell me, well, of course you know how to do this because you've been doing it for so many years. Of course you're at that level, and always tell them no. I always learn. I'm always learning. When I started 16 years ago, yeah, you're correct. I had no idea how to skate. I had to learn from complete scratch. Then I knew how to skate, and then I knew how to play the game. But then, there's things that I didn't know how to do. And it took me practice to get to know those things. And once I got good at flat track skating, because there's bank track and there's flat track. I got good at flat track roller derby. When we got the bank track, I was like, whoa, this is completely different. It was a whole other, learning curve that I had to go through. And I ended up getting better at the bank track. And you know what? I prefer the bank track, but I don't hate on flat. I still love watching flat track games. I still, encourage anyone that plays roller derby generally. Like, I support, roller derby is supposed to be a community that supports each other, where it's flat or bank track. I just preferably prefer being on a bank track. I enjoy the thrill of it. But I do have skaters that do both. I have skaters that do flat track, that do bank track. But in the essence of it all, it's all a matter of you believing in yourself that you can do it. So I encourage anyone that, if this is something you're kind of like, wow, like I want to be like that, or I want to do that, then do it. If you have the time and you have the commitment to want to try and something new, or come back and you've done this before and you want to come back, I say do it.
Yeah.
What's the harm in trying?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can watch the YouTube video of the venue, the bank track on our Squad 915, but also come out to the first game. Come out to the first bout. See for yourself what's to come. And if you're motivated, then they can reach out to you, right, Ivy? And then you also said, too, that there's some membership fees that are associated with the training. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so if you're coming out as a new skater and you want to take the classes to jump onto a team, you'll be paying what we call our skatership dues. So you pay each month. It's like a gym membership, right? So you'll be paying $20 a month as a new skater. You will have to purchase your own equipment, meaning your skates to your gear. You will have to get all that on your own. But no worries. Like, if you feel lost, like, I don't know what to buy, I don't know if this is a good brand, I don't know if that's a bad brand, you can always talk to myself. If you know a skater, you can always ask a skater. We're always willing to help. In fact, we thrill off of people that, just want to learn and just want to, try. So, I mean, you're not alone. All these purchases, you're not alone on how to obtain what you need to start. But once you get drafted, once you've already are done with a new recruitment program, you do jump onto one of the home teams. When you're ready to play, you jump onto a home team, and then your dues will go from 20 to $30 a month, because now you're practicing more. You're practicing not only with the league itself, meaning all the teams, but you also be practicing with your actual team itself.
And of course, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to get involved, how do they get in touch and how do they start the process?
If you want to get involved as far as a skater, and I have people that are just don't want to commit to skating, then that's fine. If you're not like, what, the sport, actually playing it is not for me, but hey, I still want to be part. You have the Zebra Squad. They're always recruiting officials. You have just general volunteer work. Somebody that just like, hey, I don't want to skate. I don't want to officiate. I just want to be a part. How can I help? We do have our volunteer staff. But if you're interested in any of those positions, you can always contact us through social media. You can get us through Facebook, through Instagram. You can contact me personally at 915-996-7004. And if you know somebody, you can get in contact with them and just be like, hey, I know you're part of this organization. How do I get started? They'll either let you know or they'll just direct you to me. It doesn't matter, because you're always going to get the same information and you're always going to know what's going on.
Awesome. As we start to wrap up this podcast, Ivy, kind of give a little tease and a little breakdown as to what everybody can expect for the 2025 Borderland Roller Derby season.
They're going to expect a lot of cooler themes. I did go over the themes with the league, and I've been trying to kind of think of themes ahead of time. So now that I'm more a little established as to what's going to happen with the themes this season, I can tell you that they're going to be very interesting. More makeup involved, at least for me and some of my girls who love to do. We call them battle makeup. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot of costume, a lot of makeup ideas, but generally, you're just going to see a lot of people that have been training, their butts off to better themselves. So you're going to see a lot more skill on that track, a lot more thrills. You're going to see a lot more fans, I've noticed. Now that we're already in the 2025 season, people are starting to become more involved as to recognizing who we are. And that's amazing because in past years, as we've grown, it became very underground to now it's like, all right, now people are starting to recognize, maybe not enough, but enough to where we can get an event going and people fill up those seats. But I mean, people can expect more entertainment, more local artists, more vendors, new vendors that are interested in participating with us, more events as well. We're looking into doing more schools, doing like pep rallies. We're looking into doing high schools, which, those kids are going to be 18 soon, so they can join as well. But I just want the community to know that wherever Borderland Roller Derby can fit in, whether you're doing an event or you just want us to come and support, let us know because we're up for it. For the 2025 season, we're up for it.
Awesome. Very cool. And of course, with us partnering together, we're definitely talking about getting more events between BRD and Squad 915 going out there and showing off. So we're going to be working closely together to make 2025 season a even better, and hopefully in the future we can continue to build on that, make things bigger and better, and so we can really try our hardest to make BRD as mainstream as possible so we can capture the El Paso audience and get them to these games and fill up those stadium seats and be a part of the BRD community as much as possible. So very exciting, and I'm very excited, and I'm once again very thankful and appreciative that we're going to be able to work together. We're going to be partnered together, and we're going to be doing some great stuff together. And as we move along in the 2025 season, we'll also be coming out with new announcements, new things that we're going to introduce the audience and the fans to the Borderland Roller Derby. So very exciting stuff. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this podcast now, Ivy, but any closing thoughts?
I just want to encourage everybody to be there this weekend, support, local roller derby. Remember, we're very few bank tracks in the United States, and El Paso, like I always say, is a very historical in the sense that you have a bank track here. Why not support it? Keep it going. Come out, see us, support artists, support, local businesses that will also be there. And hey, when you're done with the game, drop off the kids and come join us at Hope and Anchor and have a drink with us. Get to know us personally, get to ask us questions. It will be there at Hope and Anchor. We'll grab drinks and we'll talk. But I just encourage everybody just to try and get out there.
Awesome. Very cool. And so looking forward to working together, and definitely looking forward to joining up with the 2025 season, making fun things happen. And of course, Squad 915, we're going to also try to head out to the after parties too to kind of see what's going on. And hopefully you'll be able to join us at the games as well as at the after parties. And so, Ivy, thank you so much for being on this spotlight. I want to close this podcast out to tell everybody to listen to this podcast, get yourself educated, get yourself informed as much as possible. Use this podcast so this way it'll help you and aid you into getting to the event, what to expect. So this way, when you start to attend these games, you won't be lost in the sauce. What I'm going to say by that, this will be a very educational experience for you to understand what the game's about, how to get there, what to expect at the games, and then, of course, the after parties, and then the 2025 season as a whole moving forward. So, Ivy, thanks so much for being on this spotlight.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you so much for joining us and listening to the Squad 915 Spotlight. Be sure to check out our socials. Link is in the description. Also going to include all the socials for the Borderland Roller Derby, for the socials for the individual teams, and of course for the live stream link that you can be able to go and check out the podcast, the live stream during the games. And so it'll be very easy for you to one click and it'll take you to wherever you need to go. So once again, thank you very much for listening to this Spotlight, and we will talk to you again next time.